Top 5 Excel Skills, from Excel Rookie to Excel Guru. In this course, I'm going to share with you the vicious cycle that perplexes the accounting and finance reporting world, and how we can break the vicious cycle and make it a good one. First, I want to dedicate this course to the people around the world who suffered and are suffering from the coronavirus. Before we move on to the course, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Lenny Wu, and I'm a PD instructor at various online platforms. I received my MBA finance degree from the George Washington University in the year 2000. I received my CPA CGA designation from CPE Canada in 2012. And I'm also a certified Adaptive Insights professional, certified Zero Accounting partner, and I used to be an examiner of IELTS, or International English Language Testing System. I sat as an exam trainer of TOEFL, GRE, and GMAT from 1993 to the year 2000. I have over 22 years working with Microsoft Excel, and I'm a modeling expert in Power Query, Power Pivot, Power BI, and Tableau. I'm also a proponent of OCR, or one-click reporting, and SSR, self-service reporting. The vicious cycle. At work, I often heard complaints from fellow colleagues. First, they are swamped with heavy loads of work. Second, they sometimes are further delayed by having to redo their work due to errors in other people's work. Looks like we are in a vicious cycle here. First, we do not have time to automate. Therefore, we have to do manual processes. Then, it will take a long time to redo our work in case of errors, changes, updates in the source data. Then we are further delayed in delivery, which results into more overloaded work. And we are back to square one, so that we do not have any more time to automate, and then the vicious cycle remains. So how do we break the vicious cycle? Seems like we are in a catch-22 situation. We do not have time to automate our processes because we are overloaded. And we cannot have time left if we do not have automated processes. So the question is, how can we break the vicious cycle and make it a virtuous one? Cue the drum roll. The answer is to invest in automating the processes as a leap of faith. Okay, the virtuous cycle. As I mentioned, the first step we need to take is to invest time in automation. By investing time in the automation, we can have automated processes, and then it will take us less time to redo in case of errors, changes, updates in source data, which means we are early in delivery, and therefore we have less overloaded work. With the time saved, we can further invest in the automation, and the virtuous cycle will go on. So the benefits of virtuous cycle is that we have early delivery of financial reports, accurate reports due to modeling, and time saved for more automation. To summarize, we need to invest time in automating our reporting system so that we can save time in the reporting processes. And then we can further invest the time saved into automation processes again, and we will need less and less time in delivering our final reports. Now let's come back to this course. Why do you need this course? The purpose of this course is to help you to ace your Excel skills, to refresh some old Excel skills that you had, to discover state-of-the-art functions in Excel, and to make yourself the go-to person in the office for Excel questions. Also, we'd like to have you to build your own robot, your very office assistant who does the heavy lifting for you and make sure your work is done in fractions of the time you did before. And last, to be well positioned for your next promotion. Hooray! Okay, so what will you get? From this course, you will learn about the following: dynamic formulas, no hard links; beyond formulas, which we are going to use pivot tables; and financial modeling aspect, we need the 5 magic pages. Fourth, how to distribute reports automatically by introducing macro in Excel. Last, we are going to learn several ways to consolidate reports, which will serve as segue to next webinar, Advanced Data Processing with Power Query. Top 5 Excel skills. Number 1, dynamic formulas, no hard links. By hard links, I mean it starts with an equal sign equals to the value of another cell without any other formulas. Now let's look at some example in Excel. Here we have 6 states. We are going to prepare the income statements for these 6 states: Florida, Oregon, New York, Texas, California, and Illinois. At the front, we have the data dump that shows the revenue, cost, overhead, labor, overhead expenses, depreciation and amortization, interest that we need for the income statements for these 6 states. All the data that we have are for Jan 2020, which is for the month ending January 31st, 2020. Okay, suppose we're going to populate the data for Florida. One way is to do the hard-coded links, as we talked about. The hard-coded links simply is for you to type in or enter equal sign and then go to the data dump to find the revenue for Florida for Jan 2020. That's this amount. Click this cell, press enter so that you have the total data in there. And you can do the same for the remaining cells such as cost of sales, overhead, labor. Now we have done the hard links for all cells for these statements and arriving at the 670,000 for Florida. Looks like this is the easiest way of doing the income statement. However, in my opinion, this is one of the poorest way of doing financial reporting. Why? Because these are hard-coded links to the data dump. Suppose for next month, February 2020, we have the data at the bottom. So in that case, this formula will be linking to the wrong data, which is for January 2020. If for February 2020, we'll have to redo this link and point it to the bottom of that data dump, which takes a huge amount of time to update. So that's looks like not an efficient way of doing financial report. So you may ask, what is the efficient way of populating the income statement so that every month all we need is just refresh the data? One of the popular dynamic formulas is VLOOKUP, which will give you the only value that meets the criteria. SUMIF, which will sum up all the values that meet one certain criteria. And last is SUMIFS. This is very similar to SUMIF, but it has an S at the end, which means multiple criteria. So this one sums up all the numbers that meet a number of criteria. For the scope of this lecture, we will only focus on SUMIFs. SUMIFs is written like SUMIFs, parenthesis, sum range, which will point to the column that you are going to add up the numbers. and then criteria range, which refers to the column that you want to apply the criteria, number 1. And then after that, as you can see, it has brackets in there, which means this is optional. If you only have one criteria, the SUMIFs will be working exactly the same as SUMIF. However, if you have multiple criteria, it will be written as criteria range 2, comma, criteria 2. Okay, now let's look at